Yeah, boy.
Lost skate spots.
What is up, guys? This week on Lost Skate Spots, episode 4, we're doing it on Rowlett Skatepark, aka SkateZone, which was a park that meant a lot to a lot of people, just like Eisenbergs did in the last episode. SkateZone was only open for about 6 years, but we'll get into that. I wanted to kind of give you guys a layout of how this episode will go, just like we did with Eisenbergs. First off, I'm going to be doing a brief history. Then I'm going to be doing an edit that I put together, which I didn't really get too much footage. Then I'm going to tell you what's there now, and then I'm also going to kind of tell you about some of my favorite memories from there and some of the people that I met through there and how that kind of changed me skateboarding-wise, because that is where I learned how to skateboard. So without any more further ado, let's get into the episode. Let's get into the brief, sordid history of Rowlett Skatepark.
Brief history.
So the history behind Rowlett Skatepark / SkateZone is sort of a muddied one. There's a lot of conflicting testimonies of what happened towards the end and why it closed, but let's go back to the beginning. I should say really quick, I really consulted 3 different people on this, or 3 different sources. One being Bill Curley, who hit me up on Instagram and then later emailed me. He used to work for the park. I also emailed Angela Smith, who is the current director of Parks and Rec for the city of Rowlett. And then my third was from an article that, well, I'll get to that here after I talk about what these 2 people had to tell me. So I'll start with Bill's recollection of the park and sort of its history, because he really had the most to tell me. He said that they lobbied for the park in 97 and 98. The park opened in early 2002, and the park closed because basically the city council at the time was really old. None of them knew what skateboarding was, and nobody understood it enough to want to keep it alive, and so they closed it down and blamed it on crime and the cost of fixing it. When I reached out to Angela Smith, the current director of Parks and Rec for Rowlett, she really didn't give me too much info. I really wanted to get the city's side of things, but there just wasn't that much info known from that side. Basically, she said that she didn't work there at the time, the people that work there currently didn't work there at the time, and that there are about 30 different reasons that have been said of why the park closed back then, but really nobody really knows, and they kind of don't really care. I kind of felt like I was talking to like April Ludgate or something. It was weird. So really, I don't have the city side of things. So I'm really just going to rely on Bill Curley's memories of it and also StarLocalMedia.com's article that they wrote on it back in 2008. Basically, the city was angry that the park was open because they didn't understand skateboarding. There wasn't really anybody that was monitoring the park anymore. The park was completely free at that point. It did cost $5 beforehand to get into the park if you were a non-Rowlett resident. Like I said, according to Bill, the city council didn't care about skateboarders. They didn't really care about the park itself, and they didn't care what happened. They just wanted to wash their hands of the park. According to the Star Local Media website, which was originally from the Rowlett Lakeshore Times, I'm not sure how those 2 differ, but they're all on the same site, but they have a different heading on the top. I don't know. According to them, there was a day when the city hall announced that they were going to close the park, but people could come out and air their grievances about what they wanted to do with the park and why it shouldn't be shut down. And essentially, the government at the time for the city of Rowlett didn't care what anybody had to say. They kind of just threw democracy to the side, and they went to that meeting knowing they were going to shut the park down, but they sort of just let everybody talk just because they thought, well, maybe this will calm some people down. And then they ended up shutting the park down anyways. So originally the park was $107,000 to build. When they reached out to Rhino Ramps, the original builders, the European company, they quoted them $17,000 to fix the ramps. The city council at the time said that $17,000 was too expensive to spend on fixing this park up. But here's the thing. They didn't even consult anybody else other than Rhino Ramps as to how much it would be to fix. Basically got one quote and then didn't reach out to anybody else. In what world would a city council reach out to only one contractor and nobody else to see how much it would be to fix something? Clearly they didn't want to fix it. I promise you they could have found somebody to do it lower than $17,000. But my feeling is, even if they would have got it for $12,000 or $10,000 or $3,000, they would have said that's too much, even though in that same year or previous year, they had just given everybody up top a $20,000 raise. There was money there to be fixing things. It's just that's not what they wanted to spend it on, because they didn't really care about the skateboarding community at all. To add to the fact that they clearly didn't care about democracy or what any of the residents or local skateboarders wanted, they ended up selling all of the equipment, all of the ramps, for $10 to a local church. Now, this is clearly an issue, because it's one thing to just move a skate park. It's a whole other to move a skate park from a public entity to a private entity, because clearly people are going to be scared that you are going to send your children there, or you're going to go there yourself and then you're going to be preached to, when maybe that's not your religion, or whatever it may be. It's sort of ridiculous, because the church at the town meeting said, oh, well, we promised that we're not gonna, have any, proselytization, but at the same time, there's no rules to enforce that. They're gonna do that. And that's the only park that the residents had, so that was the only place they could go. And I mean, it's no wonder that so many people ended up going to places like Allen's skate park that was free, and that they didn't have to deal with that kind of stuff. Now, I'm not commenting on one's religion or political view or any of that. I'm really just saying that I feel like the city council really failed us when it came to keeping that park open and really caring. The park was $107,000, and it would have cost $17,000 to fix, and probably cheaper from a local contractor. I mean, let's be honest. The city council just didn't care. All right, I'm gonna step off my soapbox now, and let's get into an edit that I created of some of my older footage and some footage that I got from Jordan Stanley's YouTube, which he so graciously let me use. Also, Jordan, shout out to the Texalona crew. Also, shout out to Chris Crowell, who just got me some footage. Thank you so much, man, because I didn't have any footage from the other side of the park, so at least you got one clip. All right, let's get into the edit.
Skate edit time. What's there now?
So to be honest, I haven't driven by that park in a couple years. But last time I saw it, and from what I can see on Instagram, is it's still just a slab of cement. There's a couple picnic tables and some DIY things that people have built up there to skate. Not sure if the city's like actively tearing that down or not, but that's kind of the state that it's in right now. When I talked to Angela Smith, she said that there's no plans right now to build a Rowlett Skatepark. Like maybe something from Spa Skate Parks or something that we get in another city, which completely makes sense, because with the whole COVID thing going on, I'm sure this is like the least important thing to the Parks and Rec department of Rowlett. But if you're out there, Parks and Rec from Rowlett, please build a skate park over there. That wouldn't be too close to me now, but it'd be great for the residents that are there now. And for the Garland residents who have been waiting 4 million years for a skate park, but that's another video. Let's move on.
Memories? I remember that.
I have a lot of really great memories from SkateZone. I think I'll just try and focus on really the most important ones to me. I met a lot of really cool people there, especially a lot of the DSC guys, Dallas Skate Crew, like Darby. I met David Poole there. Well, actually, I met David Poole before then, because he used to live in my neighborhood. I met David Sauceda there. He was to me, one of the best skateboarders alive in Dallas at the time. I remember seeing him do this kickflip backflip on the tall quarter pipe, which was like, I don't even know how tall, maybe like 6 or 7 feet up, and that like blew my mind. And lastly, I had 2 really pivotal moments with a skater that used to live in this area and has since sadly passed away. And his name was Chase Duckworth. Now, I can't claim to have been best friends with Chase. He was always just so friendly, so full of life, and an amazing skater. He was one of the first guys I ever saw do like blunt to 5-0 to tail stall to revert in. Like, he was always doing such crazy combinations on the quarter pipe. He really changed my life in general. So when I first started out at the park in 2002, before I even started skateboarding, I was rollerblading with some Walmart skates. Then slowly in 2003, when I picked up skateboarding around like April or May, I was doing rollerblading one trip to SkateZone and I was skateboarding another. And sometimes I would just bring both and switch on and off. And I remember Chase coming up to me once, and this is when I hardly knew him at all. And he told me that, you know, dude, you need to pick one because I think you can get really good at one of them, but I think you should just pick one. And, you know, from that moment, I was like, okay, well, I'll pick skateboarding because it seems like the funnest thing. So I started skateboarding then because of Chase. And then a couple months later, I remember going up there and I was trying to learn kickflip. And Chase had told me that he came over and, you know, he obviously didn't have to. He was there with all of his friends, but he came over and he just helped me learn how to do a kickflip. And he kind of stayed there for like 10, 15, 20 minutes just teaching me how to do a kickflip. It was kind of this really cool thing because at the time, everybody was sort of in their own cliques. Chase really sort of transcended that. He was always really nice to everybody that was at the skate park or knew him anywhere outside of the skate park. He took the time to teach me how to do a kickflip and showed me like that I should keep my shoulders leveled and how if I'm dipping on one side that maybe I'm going to get away from my skateboard, and just all these other tips that really helped me out in not only the kickflip but in a bunch of tricks later on. Chase was such a good dude. And I think the skateboarding community as a whole really, really misses him. He has no doubt made an impact on many, many others. But I just wanted to formally say in this video that Chase made a huge impact to me. And yeah, he was just such a great guy. And I really wish that he was still around. And just know that every time we skate, if Chase's family's out there or any friends, that I consistently think about him. And I think that even though I wasn't super close to him, he made a huge impact on me skateboarding, as I've told you. And yeah, he was just a really great guy. I can't say enough good things about him. If I could do anything with this episode, it's not only to reminisce about the skate park itself, but to reminisce about Chase, because he used to skate there all the time. He was really the heart of that park. All right, so that finishes our journey through SkateZone and Rowlett Skatepark. If you guys have any memories, as always, please leave them below about the park, about the people you met there, about Chase, or if you don't feel comfortable putting them out publicly on YouTube, you can always send them to me privately. I really just enjoy hearing the stories and reminiscing. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will be back next Friday for either another Dallas Skate Spots episode or, well, yeah, another Dallas Skate Spots episode, because Lost Skate Spots takes a lot out of me, and I'll probably put another one out the following Friday or the Friday after that. Like, comment, subscribe, and take care.